lessons that we
allow us to journey into these altered states.
It really whacked me psyche though, big time.
If you just sit reading books, it's the shadow because you're not going to be in your body.
Welcome to Creating Space, bringing people together. Real conversations with real people, telling stories and sharing our gifts right here in the heart of Liverpool, inspiring new ideas, education and co-creation.
Choose a challenge that lights you up and is going to make a difference in the world.
Creating Space.
Sponsored by the Scouts Guru app.
Okay, guys, we're live. Creating Space podcast. This is our 18th episode, and we've got a really wonderful conversation today. The theme of the conversation is Men Do Cry, and we've got myself and Mr. Craig White, who seems to be a familiar face now on the Creating Space platform. And we've got four brothers here who's come to join us. It's like almost a post-retreat interview, but sharing our stories around emotions and around tears and around connection. So welcome to the studio, fellas. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks,
so I'm excited to have you, and we're just going to be leaning into all matters related. So all good.
Before we start, we're going to do something that we do a lot on our retreats and in the other work we do with men at Men Without Masks, and that's a check-in. A check-in is a chance to briefly tell the group, what is going on for you. Whether you're scared or whether you're excited, how you're feeling, what's coming up for you. And the beauty of that is it gives the whole group an indication of where you're at. So we're going to start just with a 3-word check-in. And the guideline is that all is welcome. So I'm going to go first and then we'll go to the left. So as I sit here, I'm checking in with excitement. I'm checking in with surrender. I feel like we're meant to be here. I feel like we're just surrendering to the moment. And I'm checking in, feeling like there's a voice speaking right now, but I don't know who's behind the voice. I'm in. Aho.
Thanks for that, Craig. It's good to see the men. So I'm checking in with feelings of release. I've had some big moments since retreat. I'm checking in with feelings of acceptance, and I've actually got 4. Sadness. Checking in with a lot of sadness at the moment, and that's decorated with change as well. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. I'm in.
Aho.
I'm checking in with giddiness.
Don't you start.
May not laugh. A little excitement. Being back in the room with my brothers after it's been a whirlwind of 10 days, I think, since we left. And a little bit of confusion going on for me right now. I'm in.
I'm checking in with love, obviously for me brothers from the retreat, so me brothers from before the retreat. I'm checking in with vulnerability, so obviously I'm prepared to speak my mind and put it all out there, whatever I'm feeling. And what else? Clarity since the retreat. That's my 3, and I'm in.
I'm checking in with excitement and happiness that I got the chance to go on the retreat, and also like a little bit of sadness about having it finished as well. The last 10 days have been like a bit of a roller coaster up and down, but I'm being up and down myself and so happy that I done the retreat. So I'm in.
I'm checking in with a renewed sense of purpose following the retreat. It's been like you guys, it's been up and down for me, but being able to stay on mission Like you, Chris, a little bit of giddiness for this podcast, a bit of excitement. And again, just love for the brothers who are in this room together. It's great to see you all again. Amen.
Oh. In case you're wondering, the reason we say aho, it's just an old North Indian American way of saying, I hear you, brother. I feel you, brother. I acknowledge what you just said. In case you were wondering what we were saying that for. It's great to be here, guys, isn't it? It actually, I don't know about you, but I can feel the energy of the retreat here. It feels like we're sat on retreat at Broughton Hall.
It's bringing back memories for me.
Yeah.
Already, it's a nice feeling.
Same
And
again.
if you're a man out there, we'd like to kind of, in our talk this evening, to give you a little bit of a flavour of what goes on retreat. And if you're a woman, we'll do the same. Unfortunately, we can't invite you. My partner's always saying to me, I wish I could come on retreat. And
Sacred men.
yeah, and whenever women hear about the retreats, like, I wish I was a fly on the wall. Well, you can't be a fly on the wall, but we'll do our best to kind of give you an indication of what goes on, and if you've got any important men in your life, you can try and influence them to come on with us. So I'm going to hand over to my great friend Martin to just introduce this topic of this evening, this topic of men do cry.
I called you last night, didn't I? And I was mentioning to Craig, it was like, we need a theme. And it was a revelation. It just sort of come quite naturally that I felt like the theme needed to be men do cry, And I think in the world, probably from a very early age, and I actually hear it about now, in even in like sometimes the supermarket, or if I'm out in town, or I spend some time in David Lloyd, and it's a family club, and you'll hear a parent say to the children, stop crying, will you? And I know certainly from holding space for men over the last number of years, and really starting to understand the almost the common thread of men being almost suppressed as children and as boys, that it wasn't okay to show your emotions, or it's not okay to cry because it's seen as a weakness. It's seen as something, almost it's seen as also a humiliation from a parent. Stop crying, you're humiliating me.
Shame.
And I think this revelation certainly came to me because I'm okay with crying. I could give myself permission to cry. And since retreat, I've been on a massive journey of crying. I've been crying a lot. And what we do on retreats obviously is we go through a process of creating psychological safety, where we share our darkness really, and we share our gifts as well, but we create a safe container for us to share the things that maybe we're ashamed of, or that we perceive, which is shame. And so after the 5 days that we've spent together, going through that process, getting into the body, doing a lot of breath work, a lot of sharing, I naturally come home myself. So I'm only talking about my own experience here, where I felt like a lot of stuff had come up for me, that had been pushed down, that had been suppressed. And I've been on a journey over the last 10 days, couple of weeks, of just allowing myself to cry, and it's been incredible. I was even in John Lewis last week. I was with the baby, and we were upstairs, and I just heard like a couple of Christmas songs, and there's something around Christmas that always certainly puts a lump in my throat. And and I have had a personal experience a few days ago, which was held by a really good friend of mine who actually gave me permission, and we were doing some shadow work around the mother. So I think it's come at a great time for me to be held after retreat to just allow that stuff to come. So I know, you know, we create the space in retreat, but there's been a lot of stuff that's come up for me after retreat. So I think we should introduce a little bit of integration and let that come into the talk today as well. And just yesterday, on the 12th of the 12th, 2021, we let go of the family home that, you know, we spent 35 years in. And I had a moment where my brother, my mother, my father, and my child, and you know, we went back to the bungalow, and the four of us haven't been back in that house together probably for a very, very long time. And we went back and we were reminiscing, and then we all just stood in the kitchen and we just hugged and we cried, and it was really, really beautiful, you know. So I felt very, very, very emotional over the last couple of weeks, but I feel like that's come from the work that we did on retreat. You know what I mean? You know, creating that safety, almost allowing things to bubble to the surface. And then for me, you know, there wasn't many tears in retreat, but they came for me after. So I wanted that to be the theme today, you know, like, because it's something that is not allowed, Craig, really, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know,
course.
we're not allowed to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to show our emotions. And I think for me, we have this hard exterior because it's seen as a weakness to be vulnerable. And also, sometimes our vulnerabilities can be weaponized, you know, and when we open up, people can use it against us. And I personally feel like I've experienced some of that, you know, by the world, because people love pointing fingers, you know, and I feel like integrating our shadow, especially on our Western culture, isn't really celebrated. And there's not enough compassion and empathy around these, you know, around these topics. People are very, very quick to judge and point fingers. And so that's also another reason why we don't show ourselves fully, or we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, because the world's going to shame us even further, you know? So I come back to retreat and how we create that space for one another to actually allow ourselves to fucking have a good cry, do you know what I mean? And for me, it's actually one of the most beautiful things to witness, I think, you know, from all the work I've ever done, when I'm holding space with yourself, Craig, and other facilitators. Yeah. And actually we end up just holding space together, you know. It's just, you know, there's not just 5 facilitators, there's just 25 men holding space for each other. And to create them conditions for a man to allow himself to release, and most of the time that comes through tears. It's just it's a dream come true for me. It's something. It's almost a divine experience for me to witness. And I know all of us at some stage had an experience in retreat where we had a good cry. You know what I mean? We had a fucking right good cry. Yeah. So just, you know, maybe now opening it up to the forum, like, and we'll just move around the room, and we'll stay with the topic, and we'll just let it flow where it wants to. But, you know, looking back, Chris, we'll start with yourself. Like, you know, where was, no doubt I'm making an assumption, but where was that a part of your experience where it was like not allowed to cry in maybe where did you hear that, you know, the first time in your life, being a man, being a boy?
Yeah, I think I've always been quite an emotional person. I think even when I was a kid, I get in fights, I'd cry with anger a lot. And I think as you get to a certain age, you do have that little bit of even self-governance, self-judgment of like, oh shit, I can't show that vulnerability to other people. And like you say, your vulnerability, the thing that you share, then can become the thing that gets used against you most.
Yeah.
And it's difficult at times, isn't it? I think probably around teenager times, I think, was really the time when I'm like, okay, I can't show that emotion now. It's time to be strong, be tough. And I think then into adult life, it's you're busy. You don't allow yourself space to cry.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't allow myself to sit for a week.
Yeah.
I think that was a big thing. The retreat was just like 5 days of cutting off from everything, and you just got this space to sit, contemplate, and allow, like, feel everyone else's emotions as well. I think the first day, I was the end of 8 people, and every single person was just going to cry. He was crying. And you have like a preconception of people, like a tough man, like, or a big exterior, or like, you look at these people and you think strong, or you make little judgments naturally as you turn up to retreat, and then one by one, like, tears.
Almost menace to starve for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're ready. They're starving. I mean, anyone who comes on retreat, they're definitely ready for some sort of experience, aren't they? And sometimes we almost don't know why we're coming. Some men do, some men don't. And you get even a lot more than what you perceive. You think you wanted at the start. And I know you're a busy man. You know, you're a coach. You've been coaching people for 20 years and longer. And so, you know, talking about that time for yourself, you know, it's...
Never. I'm always supporting other people.
Yeah.
And I think as well, there was almost... I don't know if anyone experienced this, but when people showed that emotion, they apologized right afterwards. I'm sorry for that. Sorry for sharing that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm sharing this. I shouldn't be sharing this. Yeah. Instantly, almost like straight after, it's like a snap thing of like, oh shit, I've shown myself. I've shown myself. Can't let me pull it back a little. By the time it got to me though, I was like everyone's emotion in the room. You know, I was in bits myself before I even opened my mouth. But I think it was a gradual thing for me. I was quite an emotional kid. My little boy's very emotional. He's 5 now, and he's and I'm conscious that I cries over things that I think you shouldn't be crying over, and then catch myself telling him, don't stop crying. Like, why are you crying?
Yeah, so even as a father, it's almost...
it's there. Yeah. It's in, and I've learned that from somewhere. That it's not. So
it's sometimes I find it hard to determine what the reason why they're crying. If it's like they're crying because they're genuinely upset.
Yeah.
Or it's just like
well, they're looking for attention, aren't they?
For attention, yeah. So I think
a bit of manipulation.
As a dad, obviously, you know, I'm like a strong male figure. It's hard, isn't it, to determine whether you know, are they actually genuinely upset? Did they need an arm round them, or did they need like a, you know, man up son? Do you know what I mean?
Of course, because there's a fine line, Mark, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You know, of going, come on. You know, you've got to check in with yourself here, and you know, there's growth in it, isn't there? You know what I mean? You know, because that's initiating, isn't it? That's like stepping up. But there's also that fine line going, listen, okay, it's all right to show your emotions, you know what I mean, and then maybe channel it, you know, in certain areas or directions in your life, you know. So
I think it's having a self-inquiry, isn't it? Like the little check-in at the start. Like, why am I feeling this right now? What is it that's showing up for me? What am I experiencing? Why am I and trying to encourage that in your kids a little bit?
Yeah.
What are you actually crying over? Instead of judging the crying, what is it you're crying over?
Yeah.
Let's talk through it.
Getting under the skin with it, isn't it?
And let them bring it to the surface, and maybe realise I shouldn't be crying.
I mean, even what we did before, you know, checking in with each other is important. But when do we check in with ourselves? You know, like even almost just daily check-in, you know, just where you're turning the gaze back on yourself, just going, what's going on for me here? How am I feeling? Do you know what I mean? You know, like it's almost become my own catchphrase. Do you know what I mean? I'm checking in, you know, as you know, Mark. So
Liverpool is saying no.
Checking in now. How are you feeling, mate? Since retreat?
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more clarity. For me, I believe I am very self-aware. I'm constantly conversing with myself. But I found that on another level now since having the time off the phone, away from the distractions. Actually exercising, I've exercised. I can't remember the last time before the retreat where I exercised without listening to an audio book, motivational, inspirational, of some Scouse house. I don't know what type of training I'm doing, but I had a lot of time speaking to myself during my exercise, during my runs and things like that. And I found it's benefited me a lot since, you know, I am checking in with myself a lot more, and obviously I'm a lot more in touch with how I am feeling. And in terms of the crying, I was like basically the man of the house from a very young age, and I was constantly fighting when I was growing up, and we moved house a lot and things like that, which again caused a lot of like fights and felt I always had this thing to prove, even up until like retiring from professional martial arts 10 years ago. I still had that ego thing where like it was fighting. A big part of it was for everyone's opinions, and you know, the fear of judgment was always there and things like that. So I found I've been to funerals, you know, people close to me have passed away. I've had loads of different like times when you know I've had to really like fucking, you know, put that strong face on, and you know, I pride myself on being like the type of person where if anyone is struggling, they can come to me, and you know, I like to think I'm there for people, and that's the type of energy I give off. But at the same time, I was watching a UFC yesterday. It was a Saturday night, and it was I've got this thing for underdogs. So there's this woman, I forgot her second name. Pena. Her name is
Juliana Pena.
Juliana Pena, yeah. And she fought on Saturday, and you know, she's a mum, and she fought some woman who's an absolute fucking monster. And I mean, a monster. Absolutely everyone with her off. And I was sitting there with fucking like my eyes are all streaming, and like, you know, really, I know years ago I'd have been watching that, I'd have been like big lump in my throat want to like, as you say, it's like, you know, speaking about vulnerability and things like that, and I actually see myself now because the way I've been, and I am your typical like strong man. It's an opportunity for me to show other men that it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness. You know, as you speak about your vulnerability, showing and exposing your vulnerabilities, something which I've learned in the last, you know, couple of years, is definitely, it's a sign of strength. You know what I mean? So if there's an opportunity there, or I do feel like having a wins, then you know, just let it'll happen. It's definitely not scared to show that side anymore, through the fear of other people thinking I'm weak or anything like that.
Big softy, mate, aren't you?
Yeah. And I think it bonds people to you more, like when they have a judgment of you being this thing, and I think when you do show vulnerability, anyone, I think it's truth in it. It's at its purest form.
Absolutely. I mean, especially for someone like Mark, you know what I mean, who is clearly a very hard man. Well, then, you know, I know you're hard, but you know, Mark's a, you know, a very tough man. You know what I mean? So I think there's a layer there that it allows other tough guys.
Human too.
I'm human.
To not suppress that side of me now, because I don't want other men to.
Yeah.
But especially the way suicide and things like that are in mental health at the minute, I want other men to feel comfortable being able to, you know, express themselves. And if they want to have a fucking cry, at the end of the day, have a cry. It's okay.
It's a little signpost for people to be like, it is okay. Like, I can do that.
Mark, just coming back to the retreat, I know you won't mind me raising attention to this, but on the final day when we were doing the breathwork session, and myself and Martin were facilitating, you know, all of a sudden the room's really going for it, and you in particular were going for it. You know, you're in, your warriors kicking in, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, we heard you crying like a baby, continually, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And the effect on the room was absolutely beautiful. Other men started crying, the facilitators started crying. The connection in the room was phenomenal. There was guys stopping, coming over and putting our hands on each other. And I want you to know that for everybody else, that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift. To see a man like you so open to the release of that was magnificent. And what I'm really interested in, which is for me a really important message for the audience listening tonight, is around the physiology of crying and the psychology of crying. Like, how was it at the end of that to get that out of your system? How did you feel?
To be honest, I've done the Wim Hof retreat 2 years ago, and there's a lot of breath work, and obviously, you know, breath work just taps into different things. A lot of them can be, you know, you can cry out of pure gratitude. I cried every morning. We done really intense, like, a breath work practice for at least an hour, and I express myself through tears every morning. I think out of the 5 mornings, maybe 4 of them were gratitude and appreciation. I was having really vivid like images. I like my mum and me, you know, my kids and my wife and people like that. There was one day where I just felt like I absolutely released a load of shit. and it completely wiped me out for the whole day. I was emotionally drained, physically drained. But I know I felt so much lighter after I'd let it all out.
Lighter,
Yeah, I think there's just something there now where, you know, for the likes of me going to them retreats, I'm going there. You know, I'm mentally, I pride myself in being in a good place, and I've studied and put a lot of work into myself. I'm going there to cry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's them going there to get the crying out, to get the playful, fucking hell, I don't like dancing in front of people. I struggle with to this day. That I'm going there.
Got some good moves, though, mate.
I'm going there. I don't know where they come from. Fucking dancing to come out. I was out Saturday night, fucking stiff as a robot. You know, I'm going there to tap into them parts of me, which, you know, I have been conditioned. I fully understand. I've been conditioned to suppress and to be this tough guy, and you know, we can still be this tough guy. Still look after myself. I'm absolutely not scared of no one. There's not a man on the planet I'm fucking scared of. But at the same time, that makes me feel, if anything, more comfortable to shed a tear and to, you know, to be honest, if I want to cry, I'll just fucking cry. Do you know what I mean? As you know, as you've all seen.
It's important to mention that, you know, there is a genuine physiological reason that we cry. You know, the trembling comes, the tears come, and you know, it's the body's way of releasing something.
Trauma,
it's the body's way of releasing trauma. It's the body's way of letting go of an old identity, an old version of ourselves, a person that maybe we loved and has passed away, a person that we were in relationship with, we've let go of. And the reason the body acts in that way and trembles in that way and the water comes to the surface is because life wants us to release the past and be present and project an inspired life into the future. It's a calling from life. And the other reason, of course, is tears of joy. You know, we can release tears of joy as well. And we'll come back to you on that, Chris, because I know that you had some tears of joy in the retreat. But yeah, I want to thank you again for that. It was, to see you release in that way was, very, very humbling.
Thank you.
We get to see that kind of process 4 times a year. And when we come together, I've held him before when he's cried his eyes out. And for me, as a man and a coach and a friend and a brother and an uncle people used to say to me growing up, "You're not empathic." Girlfriends used to say to me, "You're not empathic," and I wasn't empathic because I couldn't feel. And people used to say, "You're not compassionate." And I used to look at Martin and think, he's more compassionate than me. But what's happened over the years doing men's work and running retreats is to open to my own tears, which I do gladly now, but more importantly, to witness the tears of other men. It's just incredibly humbling, and it opens my body up, and all of a sudden, I'm empathic.
I think there's like a big thing on that as well. If somebody's telling you something, how they feel, it's very hard to empathize with their head. Yeah. When they cry, you feel what they feel, and I think that's like a real practice. That's the big thing for the retreat for me was actually witnessing and seeing everybody what they're going through, like actually feeling it myself.
It's a gift, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I got from the retreat, the embodiment thing. I'm so logical in my head all the time, rational like Mark, constantly listening to stuff. Like every minute, I'm like, why would I go for a run and not educate myself? Why would I go for a walk and not educate myself? Why would I not use the car to educate myself like every single time? But it takes you out of your body, into your head, to a point where you get kind of neutralized.
The body, I mean, I think we naturally are starving to be open, aren't we? Or maybe if I could reframe that, is for us to almost ground in our nature. You know what I mean? And when we allow ourselves to be ourselves, which is, maybe I could transfer that to being ourselves. Do you know what I mean? You know, we just want to be ourselves. And if we give ourselves permission to be ourselves, and to be ourselves in our darkness as well as our light, then there's a sense of how we just want to ground in this sense of just being open to the world, just being open. Do you know what I mean? And when we're open, we almost connect deeply to our humanness. Do you know what I mean? We do, don't we? And I think we can get afraid, and so we get in the head, and then we're afraid to be ourselves. So that's where the masks come. You know, we put the masks on. We and and then we're almost showing the world the version of ourselves that we think is expected from us. And that's where a lot of the issues come from. Mate,
Yeah, and when Martin mentions the word open, you know, he's talking about the body. He's talking about being open in the body. He's talking about opening, reducing tension in the body. Only this evening, actually, about an hour and a half ago, I was speaking to a gentleman who's decided to come on the next retreat in February. And one of the things he said to me is, he said, in my past 2 relationships, the feedback I've got is that I don't have any empathy. And I asked him a question. I said, do you know where empathy lives? He said, I have no idea where empathy lives. I said, it lives in your body. It lives in your body. And if you can reconnect with the love of your body, if you can reconnect with the repressed and suppressed parts of your psyche that live inside of your tissues, if you can open in the body, in the heart, in the gut, you will feel yourself. And when you can feel yourself, you can feel others. And that's what empathy is. You can't coach somebody to be empathic, but you can help to guide someone into their body, to release tension, to really open physically and to feel everything that wasn't felt growing up. And that's empathy.
We become so rigid though, Craig, don't we? Especially men. You know, men are there's a lot more rigidity within, you know, a man's life than what it is a woman's, you know what I mean? They're naturally more holistic, aren't they? So
Of course.
I think there's almost a few avenues for men to break rigidity, and it's you know, it's firstly permission to be open. Or even it starts with an idea of you know, even before you give yourself permission. Do you know what I mean? Because if you give yourself the thought of openness, and then maybe a permission slip to just go, okay, I'm going to try and break some rigidity, and then obviously, you know, it's the stuff we do, the breath work, the sharing, you know, and a bit of self-care as well to try, you know, whatever that looks like, getting in the body, cold water immersion, you know, a little bit of, you know, non-linear movements, whatever it is. And it's all the stuff we obviously chap into in the retreat. But there's certainly a few avenues, but we just end up so one-dimensional, don't we? You know, as
we
men.
were actually talking
we just
earlier
talked about that,
how society conditions us to be one-dimensional, and how the freedom lies in remembering once again to become multidimensional. And that's why in the retreat we talk about the love of the warrior, the magician, the king, you know, the potential to feel and connect again, the potential to welcome sadness, which is the lover, the potential to welcome anger as the warrior and do and be disciplined and courageous, and the potential to seek more and become curious like kids again and transform and welcome new realities, which is the magician, and the potential to lead and step up as a leader and embody good enough.
I think sorry to jump in before we move over to the lads, it's, you know, you look at the guys in the gym, you know what I mean, and it's all linear, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's, you know, 4 sets of 10, whatever it is, and it's all just certain movements. And even just looking at speaking to the lads, and I know there's other David's into martial arts, is that, you know, especially with the likes of jiu-jitsu and wrestling, there's a lot more free movements, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? So I know that's definitely played a role in how you get out the head, Chris, you know what I mean? And
that's actually the only thing that I'd ever do in my life that would get me out of my head. Jiu-jitsu, because it's impossible when someone's trying to strangle you. But I think as well, just to touch on what you were saying, Martin, for anyone listening, and then go with the lads, but it's like making sure you have the right container to feel that you can be vulnerable and open and share, because I think there's nothing worse than already feeling shameful and feeling guilty about expressing emotion, but then also expressing it to people that may weaponize it, may make you feel even more vulnerable, but for the wrong reasons.
That closes you down even further.
Exactly, and you express it more.
That's a valid point, because obviously where we live, where a lot of us live anyway, you still have, to a certain extent, in my opinion, it's okay for me because I've done fucking 15 years of martial arts. There's not anyone who doesn't know me who knows I can't fucking have a scrap and look after myself. But if, you know, I can imagine it to be obviously difficult for men who haven't got the physicality or, you know,
or the circle.
And as you said, it can actually be weaponized against you. So it's like, I think that's a very good point.
Find a container.
Doing it with around the right people in the right places.
Because people literally, you know, they want to chop you down even further, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, I feel like in our society, that, you know, that separation is egoic. It's competitive. We're comparing. And so, you know, the ego is wanting to inflate itself, so it naturally points fingers, you know, at other people and shames them.
And we don't like acknowledging strength in other people either.
No, we don't.
At all.
No, we don't. You know, and I think a big one is learning how to acknowledge people's darkness. That's why people tell lies. I can hold my hand up. I've told lies because I'm afraid to expose the parts of myself that I feel like are going to get shamed by the world. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, again, I come back to the men's work. That you know, we talk about containers.
You now have containers.
Of course, I do have containers. Do you know what I mean? You know, but it also
Environment's important. Man.
It's massive.
So important.
It's massive,
especially for this.
Yeah.
Peter, we witnessed your journey on the retreat, and it was actually one of the most beautiful journeys to witness. From the day you came in, and you looked like a rabbit in headlights, and the day you left home, and the feedback we got from your wife when you arrived home, and the gratitude she had.
Yeah.
How was the whole experience for you?
Unbelievable. Never thought it'd be anything like the way it was. Just when I got there, couldn't wait to turn around and go back home. I thought this is not for me. But the first day was a real struggle. Then after that, just sort of got relaxed, just started enjoying it a bit more, just listen to other people's stories, and you could sort of relate to a lot of stuff that was going on in probably in my own life and what I've witnessed in my own life. So it was mind blowing, to be honest with you, to be in there and just experience every day being on it. Just different things that was happening every day that was just like taking to another level and another level and another level, and just enjoying it so much. I never felt so much relaxed in so many years, and just seeing grown men and the way they were, and just thinking, why can't I be like that? And just saying, like, they were crying. I can't remember the last time I ever cried. And then that day where people were crying in the room, it was just like, I've never heard grown men bawl like that in my life ever. I was like, and it did bring tears into my eyes, but for whatever reason, I just can't express the tears myself. I did have tears in my eyes, but for whatever reason, I can't express that. It comes, and so for some whatever reason, it's so quick to go away. And I'm dying just to go, just burst into tears and go, do you know what, I've released it, and I can let me emotions go where, as you say, Mark, for whatever reason, you can't express them. I don't know what it is with me.
We're conditioned to protect
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how. And for me,
like,
it's just a mechanism to survive. Where we come from. I obviously didn't know you until the retreat, but I know what kind of man you are from similar backgrounds and
of course,
things like that. I can only imagine from the work what I've done over the last 10 years, even before that, you know, I put a lot of thought into myself and who am I, and I've been having these conversations. I've been very curious for a long time, but like for me, watching you coming in, Peter, with like just like brand new, in that sense.
Oh, listen,
like, do you know what I mean?
Never
it's
experience. I didn't know there was another side to life like that.
I've had experiences like that, and it's obviously something I've studied, and I know, you know, being in them circles. So to see yourself come in, and I obviously didn't know what the plan was over the 5 days. Intentionally didn't want to find out before we went. I was actually avoiding reading any emails or anything. Then the least I knew, the better. But I knew on day one when you came in, I was like, this is going to be fucking hard for him.
It was tough, honestly.
It was hard for me.
Yeah, and days later, obviously, I got a little bit more relaxed, a bit more open, and more flowing. But it was emotional for me every day, listening to some of that stuff there, thinking, I've had experience of a lot of that, and I've just shunted it in. Like today, I was doing a bit of Wim Hof breathing this afternoon in the house, and our Jacob come in from school, and he must have come in the room, and I didn't even know he was there. And I had someone come in and say, where's your dad? And he said, oh, he's meditating upstairs in the room. And they all burst out laughing.
It makes you feel any better. I went on my bird's phone the other week looking for pictures of the baby. And she's got a full highlight reel of me, like meditating in the garden. Bollock in the backyard, cold showers, ice baths after CCTV. She's got literally a full highlight reel of me in all mad places around our house, fucking back gardens, everything, just like
even today,
we have a buzz about it, do you know what I mean?
The thing on the member out masks, I was on the picture today and I said to her, did you put that out there? And like the big testimony, she said, yeah. I said, yeah, I made it, you done it. But I felt a little bit embarrassed because it was on out for everyone to see, because not everyone knew I'd gone there. But no, now, I don't care.
I
don't care. You know what I mean? And like coming out of there, the weirdest thing, I put my phone on And I did shed 1 or 2 tears in there, not much, but I did have a couple of tears when it, especially that where I heard everyone bawling and stuff. And I was dying to go, but just for whatever reason, I say couldn't go. And I put the phone on, speaking to the family, and I had like tears in my eyes, and I was like, why can't I just always be like that? And like some of the things, even like my mum and dad, just when you hug them, just like sort of emotionless, and I don't know why. I can't
You
be
just
like
don't
that.
judge it, just feel it, do you know what I mean?
At the
Because
same
you
time,
mentioned
you're
before.
reversing basic conditioning which you've been.
Yeah, I've been
party.
conditioned, like you said before, when growing up, when you were a kid. I can remember I was a crybaby growing up. For emotional, but also to get my own way. I've like got 2 sisters and older brother, and they used to like sort of bully me and like bully up, like, and I'd always get them in trouble saying, oh, mummy's she's hit me, or she's hit, and I'd cry on the couch and like thinking, why couldn't it be like that? But as I got like 14, 15, 16, started playing football, and like this persona, like you want to think, can't let no one leave me cry.
Yeah.
And like going, as you say, going to funerals and people passing away, you're close to you, saying my dad, and just didn't shed a tear, and just like, why can't I? And
I think you said something though, Pete, before. You were like, you've never seen grown men cry, and like if you've never seen it, witnessed
Yeah.
it, experienced it, then you're never going to be able to feel it.
Yeah, and listen,
It's like the first time you see a football.
Yeah.
Somebody says kick that ball, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
what do I do with that?
And like even at football, I'd probably cry if we won a trophy and all stuff like that, because I've like a gang of men who potentially 4 or 5 of them be crying because they're that excited. So I'm probably crying tears of like joy, as you say.
I think what you said there, that's, and I'm sure Craig will confirm this, it's probably when you get into the around 15, 16, because there's a hero's journey with that then, Craig, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? You know, where you almost want to be seen as a man. Do you know what I mean? You know, so it's like, right.
Yeah, you're going to war.
You're going to war. I can't cry here. Do you know what I mean? So you're almost suppressing yourself, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, I can't show my mates at all once here.
Yeah.
So there's this like, there's almost then this wall, this like solid wall must go up, mate. And it's like, and almost potentially for a number of years, because you're saying, you're not saying to yourself, I'm not allowed to cry. You're saying, I'm not allowed to feel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what you're saying
Of
to yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's where almost the warrior comes in, you know, and you're putting that lover, that emotional, that feel inside of you to the fucking bottom of the basement, you know what I mean? And 15, 16, as we all know, especially us living in Liverpool, you become a warrior, don't you? You know what I mean? And then you can almost live in that skin, live in that outfit all your life.
Yeah.
Or until something maybe, you know,
You get sick.
yeah, or something until something happens, until something really
Significant
gives you
life
the
event.
shock, a significant life experience that can you know bring about you getting back in the body, feeling again, you know. So
Sometimes you need that. It's like a fucking car
Yeah.
crash, innit? Do you know what I mean? You just
a lot of the time, yeah.
yeah.
But if you suppress that and you build that wall, it comes out anyway at some point, and it
Yeah.
often comes out in anger,
Comes out as rage, of course,
yeah. And that can be hugely destructive.
Yeah.
To not only yourself but to people around you as well, and you know you then have to live with the consequences of that thing coming out in such an uncontrolled manner.
well, domestic abuse is huge. You know what I mean? I believe most police phone calls, it's all domestics. Do you know what I mean? So you can just paint that picture where 2 people are, you know, a man and a woman, you know, are at each other's throats, do you know what I mean? Don't know how to communicate, don't know how to hold space for one another, don't know how to navigate each other's darkness and shame. And then the man's got all this, and then they're both, you know, not just confused, but they're both charged.
The darkness is talking to
That's
each other.
it, the darkness is talking to each other, and then you know, and then that's where men just use the shit, innit?
And the men drop into the power dynamic and then
Yeah.
try and control with violence.
Yeah.
Well, I can definitely relate to that, because like my anger sort of shows out on like playing football, or I get frustrated at home, or I'll scream and shout and just like so stupid, and it does fall out like that. So I can definitely relate to stuff like that. 1,000,000%.
Just understand, you're like on your beginning of your journey, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Your
definitely,
white belt in it, do you know what I mean?
No,
That's
listen,
it.
it's like, as you said, like
It's
a
magic
rabbit in the
though.
headlights.
No,
I've
that's
never
still a white belt.
experienced.
I've been at it
Yeah, listen,
I don't think you ever have a black belt.
I've
have you?
never experienced anything like that in my life ever.
Oh mate, it was
Unbelievable.
it
Honestly,
was
just
beautiful
like
to watch.
Yeah, it was
a
amazing to see.
a real eye opener for me towards life in general. How you can treat people, and how you can treat yourself and do certain things and move on with your life, and like let things pass by and go, okay, well, that's not worth thinking about that no more, where it brings up the anger and your frustration inside you.
You've been an angry man in your life, David.
Yes, very. And you know, it comes back to days at school when you couldn't show emotion, and if you did show emotion, you got bullied. So again, you put on that mask. You've got to be the hard-faced man, and you get into scraps at school, and unless you have that guidance through your formative years into adulthood as to how to control your emotions and how to express yourself in a healthy manner, it just carries on into adulthood. And when you don't deal with those things in a healthy way, it leads to risky behavior, addiction, drug abuse, gambling, promiscuity, things like that. And it's a very, very dark path that you can go down. I've always been quite an emotional person, but there was always that aspect of social conditioning where you can't express yourself in that way, and it came out in a lot of sort of anger for me. And it wasn't until I took up martial arts in my late 20s that I was able to kind of start channeling that then. And it's really only when I found yoga in my mid 30s that I really started to get back in tune with who I was, and went on this journey of self-discovery and who am I? What is my purpose here? And I go back to, I think the defining moment for me was when I became a dad at 37. I'd been I'd told this story plenty of times on the retreat. I'd been a raver for most of my adult life. Drugs, partying, DJing, hedonism, and that first.
I think we all got
it works for a while, doesn't it? But it was that first year of fatherhood that's really it was a wake up call for me. I'd had a big change in my career. I had responsibility of another life, and I wanted to guide him, in the right way. And it was when I went on retreat for the first time in 2014. I went and drank the ayahuasca, and coming back to that inner child, that was my experience on that retreat. I was showing images of myself as a child, and I remember the words distinctly in my head. It was, "You're just still a boy." And it was that moment that I had that realization that there was this little boy inside of me that I'd neglected for so many years. And for the entire rest of the night, I just cried and cried. And it was just tears of relief, of just being held in that container, like we talk about on the retreat, in that space, with people around you going through similar process. And on a physical level, all the stress, I felt so much stress that I've been holding on to around my gut for so many years. It was just bubbling away. It just slowly got released. And it was on the retreat when you did that inner child meditation that it took me back to that point. And that was the emotion had been bubbling away for me, in the big sharing circles, and it hadn't sort of fully released. But during that inner child meditation, it took me back to that point. It took me back to that little boy, and that's when the tears just flowed for me. Recognizing how I'd neglected him over the years, the damage that he'd been caused through external circumstances. And it was just that sort of process of slowly coming home to yourself over those 5 days, and doing all the exercises, the breath work, the embodied movement, the yoga, the sharing circles. I'd go to bed each night and my nervous system would be alive, but not in the way that it had been in day-to-day life. And it's like stress. Yeah. You got your stress mechanism. It was like, Jesus, wow, I feel
vitality, life.
Yes. And on that final morning, every morning I'd go down to that yoga studio and be like, I hope it's a bit more chill, progressively more. It never was. And I remember speaking to Matt, and I said, "So what have you got in store for us today then, Matt?" And he said, "Something beautiful." And when he sat us down, he said, "Oh, we're going to do the conscious connected breath." I knew.
And you know it well, don't you?
Yes. And I was just, wow, okay, yeah, I'm ready for this. And I think you led the charge there with the emotions in that practice, and then started feeling it in the whole room. And it was at some point towards the end of that breathe that I just started recalling all of the experiences that we'd had, the connections, the bonding, the exercise, the processes, just how beautiful that container had been for 5 days. And it just all flooded out for me. Just tears of joy and just
It was an amazing release,
happiness.
didn't you?
Yeah, and you came and sat with me, and I was just crying on your shoulder. Said, "This is just the most beautiful thing ever."
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. And I even leaving the retreat at 6:30 on Wednesday evening, I phoned my missus just as I was trying to find my way out of the estate. I just blobbed. I was like, it was amazing. It's just the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah.
Can we stay on you for a minute?
Yes, sure.
Because one of the reasons I wanted you to be here tonight is because, in my judgment, you really went for it in all the physical practices, especially all the what we call embodied practices, using the body, you really went for it, and we witnessed multiple dimensions of you. It was beautiful to see, and it's obvious from your sharing that you felt very, very deeply. What I want to know, and what I want the audience to know, is, all right, we've done all this breath work, we've done all this embodiment, and shouted and screamed and and moved in non-linear ways, and really kind of opened to areas of tension and so on, and released emotion. How does it manifest in your life? What are the benefits in your life at the level of the way you think and what you believe in yourself, your confidence, the way you interact with people? Because that's the gold, really.
I think a good example of that since the retreat is going back to teaching yoga. I feel like I've got much sort of more confident presence in the room, the way I project myself, my voice, the way I sort of demonstrate the postures, the way I communicate with other people in the room. I'm a lot more present. I'm a lot more conscious and aware of when I'm getting into the head, and I'm terrible for overthinking. And I'm much more able to sort of check myself when I'm doing that and come back to the breath. Always come back to the breath. And part of my breathwork coach training, we're going through this process called the presence process. And for 15 minutes a day, twice a day, we have to do this conscious connected breath. It's a lot more gentle than what we've done on the retreat. It's in and out through the nose, circular breathing. But we repeat this mantra on the breath: I am here now in this. And you repeat that over and over and over. And it anchors you. It anchors your mind to the present moment. So you shut off the noise, the thoughts, the stress, the outside world. And you come out of that. And it's like you said, the physiological effect on your nervous system. You come out of that sympathetic stress response, and your parasympathetic nervous system's activated, and you're in that rest and digest.
Back
and
in
you're
your nature, aren't you?
Okay, yeah, let's get on with the day. And having that structure, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning like we did, going to the studio, doing the practices, the movements, taking that back home with me. I notice such a difference in my day when I get up with a degree of discipline, get in the cold shower, get down to my little space in the dining room, onto my mat, do a little bit of movement, some breath work, some meditation, and I'm set for my day then, rather than what I might have done at one time is just lie in bed scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, looking at what's going on in other people's lives.
Because you've got to keep sharpening the sword, David, each day.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do on retreats, obviously, we are, it's great because we actually get to lean into everything as well, you know what I mean? So we're not just holding space, we get to, become better men, and we get to grow as men as well. But we're not just giving, the guys an experience, we're almost giving them the instructions to go away when you go home. to not just integrate the experience, but to sustain these practices. You know, and it doesn't have to be nothing crazy, does it? You know what I mean? Just almost a little bit of self-maintenance each day, which then, which almost like triggers the heroic experiences that you've had on retreat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and just want to call in there that on retreat, what we do with Men Without Masks, we don't at all use any hallucinogenics. And I know you spoke about ayahuasca before, and you know, stranger to that experience. And but you know what you've done with hallucinogenics, which are, if taken in a very ceremonial, safe way, can be incredibly powerful for, you know, getting into that inner child work, releasing shame, you know, healing, all that kind of stuff. And I know, you know, from your experience, that what we've done on retreat offers the same container, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
In an embodied way.
In an embodied way.
I would say as well that those 5 days on retreat was way more powerful than any ayahuasca. I mean, the ayahuasca experience, it opened up a gateway,
Of course.
for me. But to be able to do it completely sober over 5 days and come away with all those tools and the brotherhood, the connection, and being in that sort of structure throughout those 5 days, it's way more powerful.
There's an aftercare, isn't there? And how's that been since, you know, coming home, connecting
One
with the
sec,
guys?
just want to nip in there, Martin, 1 second, because it's an important point. You just said that, you know, the retreat is as powerful as, you know, some kind of hallucinogenic experience, and it's because you're in the body.
Yes.
And what I want to say to the audience is, you know, we're not a therapy group. You know, we're not the 12 steps. Those are beautiful and they change people's lives. In a nutshell, what we do on retreat is we design processes and create safety so that guys can get out of the head, they can get into the body, they can feel themselves again, they can shine light and love on the parts that they suppress growing up, so that they can return into life more whole, more empathic, and more able to feel and bless others through the presence. So that's why I wanted you to share that.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
Flows.
It's done so.
Yeah.
So even like in terms of like the food, it is like a complete fucking detox, isn't it?
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, there's no phones. The food is absolutely gorgeous. I
Yeah.
wish it-
Yeah, wasn't it?
Good
the
food,
food
wasn't
is
it?
amazing. There's no coffees. There's no like.
No sugar.
It's just complete and utter naturalness, isn't
No
it?
Percy Pigs there, was there, man? You know what I mean?
That's the point for me. It was like not having the phone. How good was that?
Yeah.
Container, man.
Yeah, just I didn't even miss it from 1 minute going in there till the end.
That
It
was
actually
it.
done me head in.
Takes you
putting
away
the phone
from
on.
time as well. When you're off the phone,
Yeah.
you're almost just you're out of that.
Deconditioned over the
Absolutely,
5 days,
yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah.
There's that much going
Definitely.
on that
Yeah.
you're enjoying as well. Before you know it, it's 9, 10 o'clock at night. I think.
I didn't wear a
What's
watch
happened?
intentionally
Yeah.
while I was
Yeah.
there because I wanted to kind of lose track of time, which I did once. I want to lose track of time throughout that experience as well. But I think that was what contributed. Like Dave was saying, like the environment, the container, the presence. I was saying to Craig before the podcast, like I've never experienced in my life presence until that 5 days.
Yeah.
Like true presence, because you can be present for an hour, you can be present for 10 minutes, you can put your phone away, you can be there for that time, but like an entire 5 days where you're having dinner together, breakfast, lunch and dinner, sat there actually talking. That was like, that was a hidden gem.
Yeah.
That was
For me, the setting as well, even like,
yeah.
I found myself just staring at the painting, just taking.
Yeah.
The history.
You wouldn't do that
I
if you had
just-
your phone, would you?
I
You'd be-
felt so
you know what I mean?
undistracted. I was just really, and it, you know, it's came with me since I've left there. Even like the moments of stillness and the moments of just connecting with your breath. Numerous times a day, it weren't like, you know, we just, everyone, how many times we meet up at least a couple of times, 2-3 times a day. But even in between, it's right, okay, let's just stop and breathe. And, you know, to be able to do that, that I've definitely found, you know, I'm using that through my day a lot more now, even if I'm in the car or, you know, it's been really beneficial to me.
Like I found a new confidence in there, like, because I find it very hard to stop and talk to new people and then sort of get a bond with them. But in there, just like, as you say, just coming natural after like a couple of days, just stopping and just talking to people, asking how things going, just going for walks and listening and learning stuff. And I'd find that so hard at home. So give me a lot of confidence.
How's it been for you since, Pete? Like, how's that continued on for you?
Being a bit better, yeah. Being a little better. I'd be like one of them. I can't be able to talk onto him. But now I'm just that's it. I'm just going over confidence. Just getting stop and talking. Even I was out last Saturday night and a couple of hours and I was out dancing and I was just never felt like, just find like a little bit
amazing,
more confidence in myself. You know what I mean? Really good. Enjoyed it.
You said something really important then, actually. I just want to bring attention to it again. It's something I've actually not thought about, but it's genius. And when we stop using our phones for a significant amount of time, we detach from the concept of time.
Yeah.
And when we detach from the concept of time, you have to feel.
Yeah.
It's a really important part of the return.
Yeah. Because, you know, we become a slave to I'm not going to say that it's an illusion, you know what I mean? But I think almost as men as well, I mean, as a human species, we're almost designed to, I mean, we're so connected to the realms of time and the egoic self that we like to know where we're going and we like to know where we've been. So we literally, we dance between them two concepts, do you know what I mean? You know, what's next? What have I got today? What have I got next week? What have I got next year? You know, blah, blah, blah. And it's almost this what's next syndrome, I call it. Yeah. And then it's, if it's not where am I going, it's, right, well, where have I been? And so we miss almost the present moments. It almost doesn't exist to a lot of people because they're in that realm of time unconsciously, unknowingly. Do you know what I mean? Now I think there's nothing wrong with actually moving towards something. A lot of people don't move towards something. They don't even know what they're moving towards, or they don't know the motivations behind what they're moving towards. So having a greater sense of awareness, which is cultivated in the retreats we do, it gives us an opportunity to go, okay, I know where I'm heading now, because we do some work on mission and values and purpose on retreat. You know, it's not just all embodiment, is it? You know, we give men a very pragmatic map to navigate their own endeavours. But I think, again, when we have purpose and when we have a vision and when we disciple a set of values, then we can move towards something and it feels like we're flowing towards something. But not just that. You know, I think understanding the realms of time, it's okay, we can use them concepts, we can learn from our past, we can move towards something in the future. But when we actually capture ourselves and coming back to it and check back in to the present moment, because that's where life is. Like, tomorrow doesn't exist. Yesterday never happened. Do you know what I mean? Because you were only ever just being the present. So to come back to this now and to, you know, and whatever almost little triggers that we can adopt throughout our life to do that, you know, and I know, you know, we laugh about it, but the more and more you do it, the more and more it almost spontaneously arrives as well, Mark, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Nature.
That's it. You know, you're just like now checking back in and you're present again. Because we do check out very quickly, don't we? You know, and there's a, you know, so we actually live a life in the head. We're in the head. Do you know what I mean? And we're living a life in these projections. That's it.
I think as well in this digital world where everything's on the internet now.
Yeah.
I've literally been on the internet every day since I started my IT degree in 1998, and you can get so lost down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And social media, it's great for connecting people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it disconnects you from real human connection.
Yeah.
In the room.
In the room, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're talking about this metaverse. We've been in a metaverse for fucking ages, for years. Do you know, we're already in it. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, we're so distracted by almost the glitz and glamour of social media and a level of
we're no better than moths to the light.
Conformity and consumerism, isn't it?
Validation from the external, isn't it? And that's how, if you look at social media, that's basically, it's actually created to put you in the head.
It is.
Yeah.
To take you out the body. So
get you in fear.
For me, a big help again has been actually understanding the archetype, and it's like, you know, if you are sucked into the social media thing, you're spending too much time on your phone, you're not present with your fucking body needs to kick in. And say, well, I'm going to limit the amount of time, so much.
Set some boundaries.
Set some boundaries,
Certain amount of time each day to have a little,
just
do whatever you do.
Being quite good in the sense, I'm away most weekends with me missus and kids, and you know, my missus on the same page as me. If anything, she's more like disciplined in terms of fucking them phones are going away.
Yeah.
We're going for food or we're going anywhere. You know, but it's hard as, you know, it's something what you have got to practice, and you've got to set times, boundaries, and stick to them. Do you know what I mean? You're up against it because, you know, these things are actually fucking created by people a lot more intelligent than I am.
Well, they're designed to suck you in as well, though, aren't they? That whole scrolling thing with the little circle, it was designed to, you know, what's coming next.
Statistics saying that the average Instagram user subconsciously checks Instagram over 150 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy, that.
I mean, and the average human's got an 8-second fucking attention span. Like goldfish has apparently got 9, so goldfish
It's reduced over time, hasn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it is a serious
that's right.
serious issue.
Chris, the first time I met you,
Yeah.
you said to me, your tweet looks awesome, but there's no way I can be off my phone for 5 days.
Yeah.
What changed?
Fuck, I was fed up. I was ready. It got to a point where there was no other option but me to distract from work. I think for 8-9 years of running my business, I have a digital business. Like, I'm online like 24/7. Literally, I communicate with all clients online. I generate all leads online. I sell via chat. I sell over the phone. It's like every ounce of I create content online. Every single ounce of my business is online for almost a decade. And so to take that away when like a lot of your security is attached to it, a lot of your self-worth's attached to it, a lot of who you are. I actually remember sitting on the retreat and I'm like, if I didn't have my phone, who am I? Like,
Yeah.
if
That's
you
a
took
great
that
question of inquiry.
It is.
I think.
I was like, you take that away from me. I'm like, who am I?
We get sucked after the identity,
all
don't we?
my identity is attached to
Yeah.
that digital presence. That's a snapshot of who I am. It's only a tiny little piece of who I am. And so that was probably the challenging part for me, was like, okay, if I let go of that, then I have to like face what's here. And then it got to a point, obviously, over I think, what was it, maybe a year or so being connected, Craig. I think it just got to a point where the October retreat, I still wasn't ready. Still felt too much for me. I think I might have mentioned that to Martin as well. It just felt like I'm not ready. But then by November come around, I was like, fucking take that phone off me. I'm in. When it went in that box, I was just happy. I was
Relieved.
I don't even want it back. Like, don't give me back.
Because we do a process, don't we, on the day one, literally within the first couple of hours, where we give our phones over, don't we, you know?
We spoke about that earlier.
Yeah, it was, and that was magic for me. And I think I noticed as well at dinner, when you're talking to people, how many times you reference, like, let me show you this. On,
Yeah.
do you know, and so many people went like, I've got to show you this thing. Or, and then, I haven't got my phone. Or you should see this thing. I haven't got my phone. So it forces you to actually describe, talk about it.
Yeah.
Instead of using that as a clutch.
Yeah.
Actually be more
Become
open
part
with it,
of people's body, though, isn't it? You know,
Elon Musk said,
we're already an android because
Yes,
it's...
Elon Musk said that, yeah. He said, worried about being an android. He's like, we already are.
Yeah.
He's like, you can access any information on the planet you want in seconds. It's an external hard drive, he said, in your brain.
I consciously feel like I'm in work anytime it's on me in person. If it's for me to feel like I'm not in work, it's got to be off me person, face down on silent, somewhere like fucking out of reach.
I actually relabeled it in my mind, not a phone, it's a distraction device. Like, I just constantly remind myself of that. So when I pick it up, it's a distraction device, not my phone. Where's the and that's like...
I think it's at the same time, though, you got to realise that they're absolutely fucking... It's a tool, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have had the business or success that I've had without it. I'm
it's
grateful.
Just actually utilising it and not, using it and not being used by it. You know
use social media, don't let social media use it.
Yeah, and that's where the warrior again, it is like, that discipline, what you were saying before.
Set the boundaries. Yeah.
Set your boundaries, set your intention. What do we need it for? If it's for me business, the self-awareness, I'm actually aware that I'm just scrolling fucking absolute nonsense now, which doesn't serve me.
Or we're getting a lover to come on board. Look for real pleasure.
Step into
intimacy.
Step out of being consumerism and step into creator. Like, use it to create change, create a shift, create content, share, help, and then try not to consume so much there.
I think I'd like to just jump in a minute. Is that, you know, I think again, this is why the map of the archetypes can really serve us well, because it gives us an opportunity to untangle, almost decipher parts of our behaviour. And especially like if we were to look at the king, and when we look at what is purposeful to ourselves, then we have almost a mission then, a greater purpose to do something worthy, or to do something that we want to do in the world and what we love to do, which takes away the you know, the sense of instant gratification or addiction, doesn't it? You know what I mean? If a man almost knows where he's going and how to get there, then he's not reaching, you know what I mean?
And I've got so much more clarity in my own mind since coming away from there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really, really helped me, do you know what I mean?
And you were already a man on a mission, Mark, do you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
the way you navigate your endeavours in Liverpool. But it's great to know that, you know, someone like Mark Scanlon, who is a highly functioning black belt, motherfucking Jedi. You know what I mean? And he's got on retreat, and you're still fine-tuning. You know what I mean? You're still, you know, readjusting.
Inches and edges,
you
isn't
get
it?
too sucked into your purpose
Yeah.
or your mission, and you know, a lot of the times the people closest to you who suffer. And I was like, the retreats come up and it hasn't felt right. I knew at that stage, I need this. I need to come out of this daily program I'm in now, because again, I'm aware a lot of the things I'm doing aren't serving me.
Yeah.
In some ways, I'm fucking like militant with routine and discipline. It's like, you know, you could fucking time you watch by me, you don't need a watch, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm fucking
I'll
far
have to watch.
I'm far from perfect, and sometimes I always think it can be worse when you're actually aware of these things, what you're doing wrong that aren't serving you, and you're stuck in these patterns where you can't break them, and you can't. And that's what it done for me. There was quite a bit of confusion and you know, foggy days, and going into the retreat. And since I've come out, it's like I just can kind of pinpoint where I'm going, what I need to do, what's serving me, what's not serving me. I'm having all these moments of like stillness in the day, and like, I'm just, the conversations with myself now are a lot more clear.
Yeah.
And I know what I want. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think that's such a valid point.
Sharp, innit?
Yeah, it's mate.
You could take him.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely not actually.
I tried.
I think we need Chris. In fact, I think we need all of us.
Don't be
I
involved.
tried a 2v1 grappling once, and it didn't go down well. I got kicked in the head within 3 seconds, so don't try
It's good
it.
though, because it also breaks that barrier down that you can feel as well, isn't it? Instead of like being like the Mr. Tough guy, where I probably think, I feel embarrassed to let my emotions out, because I know I'm quite emotional deep down.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and I'm quite loving when I just relax and go. I am quite loving. I'll like get up and go, I'll get that door and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I just don't.
Yeah, the place
the
aside
city
as well.
Can't get it out there
It's
all the
beautiful
time.
to
Just
see
be like
when it
that.
happens too, Peter.
Yeah.
And if you can find people around you that welcome that and witness your beauty in releasing emotions, that's also part of your journey.
Yeah.
Oh,
To be
definitely.
around people that allow it and
Of course.
Well, I'm learning that
welcome
now
it.
daily, where like
Well,
I would never have, till I went on that, I would never have known nothing like that.
Because we have to
As
look
I'm
at our
just gonna-
circle,
I'm
though,
just
don't we?
gonna-
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes when we're coming back into the world, and we have to take an honest look, do you know what I mean? And make some courageous decisions that maybe the people around you, you know, aren't really serving your highest good. Do you know what I mean? Or aren't necessarily creating conditions for you to be vulnerable. And for, you know, sometimes it's a two-way stream. Do you know what I mean? You know, we want to just feel like we can be open anyway with the world, but also, you know what it's like in certain environments with certain people or certain circles, you're naturally a lot more guarded, and then you do put the masks on and things like
to
that.
yourself, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because your circle allows that to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So it takes courage to look at your circle and potentially let people go. You know what I mean? And that's a...
Quite right, that man, because I come out of there and I was telling people some of the things that I was doing, like the dancing and the breath work, the meditation, and they're going to me, have you lost the plot?
Yeah.
And I was going, do you know what? If you'd asked me that 5-6 weeks ago, I'd have probably said yeah. But when I've come out of there, I've seen a different side of what life can be and how you can get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
So if you think I've lost the plot, I've lost the plot, but
You've
I
actually found it.
experienced,
Yeah, exactly.
I experienced something in there that I've never experienced in my life that was the best thing, and the way it happened for me to get there the way Emma done it, it was like I was meant to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in nothing like that to like come out of there. But when I look back now, like I was meant to be there.
Yeah. And just for the audience, Peter didn't want to dance on day 1, but on day 5 at the end, we weren't going to dance, and he actually requested.
Yeah, he made us all dance, yeah.
To Kool and the Gang celebration.
Yeah, celebration.
But I think, you know, I mean, it's again, you know, anyone listening to this, like, men want to, we do deeply want to rest in our nature, and we do want to expose ourselves, you know what I mean? And we do want to be ourselves, and it's only, we only just get in our own way most of the time, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And it's maybe because of lack of practice. You know, we almost don't practice being open as such. But also, you know, we can get in our own way, or we can deny. We can deny it, can't we? Do you know what I mean? And, you know, people who are, you know, and I'm not calling out these people, you know, who are judging you. Do you know what I mean? But somewhere underneath that, the skin, they know that they want a piece of that, but they just deny it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, because they're afraid of it.
They're not.
Yeah.
What they want to be.
Yeah. You know, it takes, it's not easy. It's not easy to be vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? And it comes back to what this whole conversation's about, is like, you know, it's okay to cry. Men do cry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, cry. Yeah, I think it's even just express.
Yeah.
Your emotions, even if it's not in tears. It's just
exactly.
It's okay to just be yourself.
Yeah.
We're so rigid and so linear.
Yeah.
That was the message from the Lover Day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
get
you
out
look
of
at like the Europeans, you know what I mean? You know, when like even when they greet each other sometimes, you know, like, they're just, you know, they're kissing each other, the touchy, the feely, the tactile. Do you know what I mean? It's in their nature, it's in their culture, you know, and it's not sometimes necessarily in our culture, you know. I mean, it is in my own circles, and I know I can see it, but sometimes it's not, is it? It's like, it's barely a handshake, you know what I mean? You know, and I love coming in for a little hug and that, and, you know, there's people who are just not ready for that. And I make an assumption that, like, they're ready for it. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, you come in for a hug and people are like, dead fucking... you can feel it, you're like hugging a fucking stone or something.
On day 5, you can't even pull away, though.
No.
Because on day 5, nobody wants to let go.
I've been giving all logos out and everything, you and everything.
Yeah.
We love a good hug, eh?
Yeah. Well, we love connections, don't we? That's what we're
everyone craves it, though, man.
We just want, we just want to be loved. We want to love. We want to, you know, we want to be felt. We want to be seen. You know, it's just really the human condition, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know, that we want to connect. We want to connect, and
I think that's what the archetypes are really nice for as well, to like identify and switch. And I actually said to my clients about a lot of people struggle to switch off from work. I'm like, you've got to imagine as you come through the door, like, take off your battle armor, like take off your sword and your shield and your helmet, put it down, like physically do it, then walk in the door and like embrace the lover. Like that's your playful side. You've been to battle, you've been to war, you've had your victories. Now go and celebrate with your family.
Put your tutu on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what you're saying now there, Chris, it's difficult because some men can't go home and celebrate the family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's, you know, they're seen as the men of the house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you got to go out there, you got to go and you know, you're the breadwinner, you got to go and do what you're doing, and then you can come home. And if there's a lack of communication, or there's if, you know, there's a, what am I looking for here? Because you can go home and just like
done it.
Yeah, it's a lack of connection. You know what I mean? And if you're not received at home, then you know, you've got a wall. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, so you come, you know, there's a battleground outside, but men can be coming home to a battleground as well, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
Energy into the house, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the.
That's
something that
I've
experienced. Yeah,
it's very hard, heavy.
You bring that mission into the house.
Yeah.
You need to leave it at the door.
You're on a very fast pace compared to everyone else.
That's a struggle I've had over, because I work from home, particularly the last couple of years when all the offices have been closed. You know, there's been some days where I've just gone straight from the bedroom into my office and started working, and you just carry that around with you all day.
Yeah.
And you know, even just after tea, going back, checking emails, checking in, you just can't switch off, and you do have to set those boundaries. You know, even when your office is in that space, you have to have that time where you say, right, I'm logging out, switching off, close the door. Right, I'm now dad. I'm now
Yeah, it's hard,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
it is.
hard.
But it's a two-way thing. That it's not just the man's. It's not just a thing that the man's got to do. His missus has got to do it. Do you know what I mean? And maybe come up with certain practices where you can go, right, okay,
Little ritual.
yeah, whatever that looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or eye gazes.
Yeah.
Eye gaze, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checking in.
Checking in.
And the breath work.
Yeah.
The breath work's a big one for me.
Yeah.
I know I have a lot of, some days where I get foggy and busy, and just having that little minute in the car or wherever you are, just to connect with your breathing and a little reset. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
The breath is so powerful. It really, I mean, I've only really come to appreciate in the last couple of years, but there's so many different types of breathwork exercise that you can do to activate different parts of yourself. It's incredible. And it's a never-ending journey of discovery of all these different practices and the benefits that they bring into your life.
You think, don't you, how the fuck's it took us so long to
And that's the thing we do most.
Yeah.
I think that's what the retreat does for you, though. It's like it stacks a lot of stuff on top of each other, where you get up, you do your morning ritual routine or whatever. You might do a little breath work, and I think Wim Hof's like popularized now, and people do a little breath work, but then you're off with your day. But that's stacking of like day after day after day after day. And even like throughout that day, you just go to bed and you just feel like you're ready to sleep, you're ready to rest, you feel good.
I think it's the importance of potentially always, in your life, maybe a couple of times a year or at least once a year, having some sort of initiation.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? But, whether that's in nature just for a few days, away from the phone, whether you're doing, a small pilgrimage with your family or with other men, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It might be psychedelics, it might be, I had a massive experience just last week, and I went on that journey with some psilocybin, and it's just these deeper, more meaningful experiences instead of maybe just these day-to-day, because even the day-to-day morning routines can become unconscious. Do you know what I mean?
So
They're
you're doing it to take it off.
Yeah.
Just unplugging, isn't it, for a period of time.
Definitely.
I think as well, like,
but the thing is, sorry, you're not unplugging, you're plugging back in, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Unplugging from society, culture.
That's right. And getting back into yourself, aren't you?
I think it's funny, people wouldn't bat an eyelid at investing 5, 6, 7 grand on a holiday for 2 weeks. But the idea of investing in a retreat for 5 days, people that's the first thing people how much is it? Oh, how much?
Yeah.
But like that investment in yourself is it's so valuable, man. To the point where
put a price on it.
No.
And you almost need like annual maintenance. I feel like every year just taking that time just to unplug. Get your phone out the way. Get
we
there.
get
Be
the chance
present.
to do it 4 times a year.
I think an issue though is a lot of people don't value their own self-worth.
Exactly.
They feel worthless. So when it comes to investing in themselves, it's almost the last thing on the list, isn't it, Craig? You know what I mean?
People's perspectives in terms of money, though, is just so wrong, isn't it?
It really is. It really is, Mark. And it's changing a narrative, almost a whole culture around how people, behave, with money. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are going out there and they're buying things. Again, it's feeling into like most people don't even know what the motivation behind what they're buying or how they're spending the money. You know what I mean? And I think this is where advertising does very well, because they're always just saying, well, come and buy this car because the one you've got's not fast enough. Come and buy these trainees because they're last month's model. Come and buy this new shiny watch because that one you've got doesn't tell the time. So it's all, you're not good enough. That's what, it's all just saying, you're not good enough. Come and buy, come and buy, come and buy. Yeah, you need this. You need these clothes, to the women. You need this perfume. You don't smell good enough. You need this makeup. You're not good enough. And it takes self-awareness to go, do you know what? I see the matrix here. I'm seeing how this whole fucking game works. I am good enough. And then, to understand, well, what conditions am I creating to anchor that self-worth? It doesn't have to necessarily be a retreat. Do you know what I mean? It might be, taking yourself for a coffee. Do you know what I mean? It sounds so simple to us. But some people don't even give themselves. They don't feel like they're worthy of doing that stuff. So there's layers and levels to this. And I think if anyone, for any man listening or even a woman, where you feel like you're not worthy of this stuff. You are. Do you know what I mean?
Get up 10 minutes early, give
That's
yourself
it.
that time
You
and
are
space.
worthy. You're worthy of a good life. You were born here. You were born to do great things, and then over a period of time, you start to invest. Use your money wisely, and you put it back in your own bank. And then that's where that's where almost natural confidence comes from. Self-worth grows, and that you go from a scarcity mindset to an abundant one. And then people feel them energetics, Craig, don't they? In the world.
Of course. I'm really big on that stuff anyway myself. Obviously, your emotional state is fucking absolutely massive, and I've lived and experienced self-limiting beliefs which I weren't even aware of at the time. And there's part of my life when I look back now as a martial artist, I openly say I've sat in this room with Paul.
Yeah.
I failed as a fighter. I nowhere near reached my potential, and that was based on the image I held of myself. I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
But that's what I believed deep down at the time. Maybe I wasn't
That's
aware of it.
right.
It's only been as I've came away and I've done the work,
Yeah.
studied myself, I've actually looked back and gone, well, I actually sabotaged fucking massively because I didn't believe inside that I deserved to, to reach a certain, to basically to become a certain person or to reach a certain goal. And that, I think when you are doing the work and you are investing in yourself, you literally just, gives you a massive boost in confidence.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Because you see your own results, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
You become more aware that you're capable of a lot
of
more
greater
than what
things,
you're
yeah.
conditioned
Build
to
trust
believe.
in yourself, don't you? The more you do it, you build trust in yourself.
And that reaffirms the nervous system, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And we go, I do believe in myself, and it's stuff that we do in retreat, especially on King Day, where we almost allow other men to be blessed, to bless us. It's like
be expressed in your work and your earnings.
I
and
believe
your
in
job
you.
and
Yeah.
things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you're going for a promotion, you don't believe that you deserve the promotion.
Yeah, I get it.
Because you're fucking scrolling on your phone all day and you're not exercising.
Yeah.
And you're not like, you've got no self-awareness. Then it's like it can massively be doing these retreats in the long term or in the long run can benefit. You get that money back tenfold just by the benefits what you get
And the vibration you adopt.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's easy to spend that money on bevies and nights out anyway.
Yeah.
Like you're
collecting
spending it anyway.
experiences.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just whether you're going to invest it or spend it, what's it going to bring back? What's the ROI?
Yeah, you're spending it in one go. You're spending it
Over
in
the year.
cumulative
Yeah,
way as well.
yeah, exactly.
Beer, cocaine, cars,
Clubs.
online programs,
All that.
trainers, prostitutes, whatever it is.
Clothes, this,
Clothes.
that, the other.
I think something's got to be said for the venue. All the venues fucking have
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's incredible, wasn't it?
It is beautiful.
Just the way it was run as well.
And the
Everything was
staff.
just perfect,
Yeah.
cloth-wise.
Staff.
Well, that's why
incredible.
that's why the fee is what it is because of the venue. It's. I mean, what is it?
Bog roll out of place.
1,000 years old.
Maybe.
1,000 years old. It was brought on all estate. Like, it's just like it couldn't be any more prestigious. could it?
Special place, isn't
I
it?
mean, I mean, we cried when we first went to it, and it just feels right, because we believe in, divine timing and.
How was it doing the first retreat there for you?
service, and it's amazing.
How was it like facilitating the first retreat for you
I
there?
think we naturally just slipped into it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think from our last retreat centre, we were almost we'd grown beyond the space we were in.
Yeah.
And I think Broughton Hall was just that next space, and it was almost massive, and we just naturally grew into it, didn't we?
It wasn't perfect, the first one.
No.
But it was like, wow.
Yeah.
The potential here. But the second one, the one we've just done with you guys,
Yeah.
we're just on it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're always fine tuning out. We
just
were always
grateful
going.
to the-
But the retreat now is,
to the venue,
I
it's
feel,
amazing.
is like it's fine. It's a fine tuned animal now.
Yeah.
And all we got to do is show up and be ourselves. That's the big one. We just got to be ourselves.
It's
And-
magic, man.
It's not work, is it?
No.
It's not a job.
I didn't have like in my vocabulary like magic and wonderment before. Those weren't words I ever used.
Yeah.
But like find me what people say, I was like, what? It was magic. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy. It's hard to explain what actually went
Because I
on.
know you guys, as everybody did, you enjoyed the facilities, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
We were in the gym every morning.
That Avalon.
Training every morning.
Steam,
Swimming.
sauna,
Take something out of a Bond film.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not like
Yeah. It's not you.
take something out of a fucking Bond film.
You know?
I think the ethos behind what the Tempest family have done there
Yeah.
what they could have done with that space.
That's
in
right.
terms of inviting.
Because it was all hot, tweed jackets.
It was a
and
hunting estate.
It was a hunting estate, you know what I mean? And no doubt that Roger, the main the main man at the moment, within the family, he's had a revelation. Whether that's, I don't know what that is. I'd love to know the story. In fact, I'd love to interview him. Do you know what I mean? But no doubt, he's either woke up one morning or he's just stressed out that life so much where he's gone, something's got to give. I've done that too much, or maybe he's had a revelation in a huge ayahuasca ceremony. I just make assumptions here. Do you know what I mean?
And now he just wants to be service to the world.
He just wants to be service to the world, and
It's
that
the transformation of
that's
human
it.
consciousness.
That's it.
There is a shift though, isn't there? Like I feel like I feel like COVID is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to people. I think there's definite shift in energy, and people are seeking and searching for more, and they're looking for alternative ways. And I think, as Pete was saying, he didn't have an example of men crying. My hope is that this generation of men can show our boys and our men how to express and get in the body and express their emotions, so that the next generation's even stronger again.
Yeah.
And it's just a cascade.
We're just
and
a link in
ripple.
the chain, aren't we? You know what I mean? But I think what I feel like, if we do this work and we allow ourselves to feel, then we become a natural mirror.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're here. I'm here for you. You're here for me, and we're here to advertise our nature. Do you know what I mean? And when we're being ourselves,
can't we?
that's it. We can only be ourselves,
and keep removing the fear of being seen.
Yeah.
Just keep peeling back, and showing ourselves, all of us.
Yeah, I think that's definitely. I'd give you a lot of credit for the fact that you say it's not 20 minutes, it's 25.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like
in the trenches with us.
I think it's hard to facilitate and to do what you're doing without actually putting yourself on a pedestal or seeing yourself, the honesty of certain things like you said, and even triggered me to one point, and I had to check in with myself, didn't I? I said to you, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? But again, it's like it's just showing that vulnerable side, that honesty, and I think that definitely makes it a lot easier for us to be ourselves as well.
Commissioning it, like when they open up, and it's not like us versus them, or we, contain, looking down upon you. It's we're in it together.
Having a share.
It's true empathy, isn't it?
That's right.
It's true empathy. It's in it.
You're leading by example, aren't you?
It's
When you
leadership,
share.
isn't it? True leadership.
Leader of one, leader of many. Can't lead one, can't lead any.
Yeah. But, I think that's come over a long period of time as well, Chris. I know Craig and I speak on my own behalf, and I know men in this room, you've done a lot of work on yourselves. So, we've done many retreats, but it was the work we've been doing for a number of years for us to even get to, give birth to something like Men Without Masks. And now, we've been going since 2017. So it's a natural evolution, isn't it?
Of course.
I know I've grown as a man. I know I've become a better man every time I come back from the retreat. Do you know what I mean? And
you must take a little piece of every person that's on retreat. Yeah. There's a little mirror for every little person. I did that from our group as well. Like there's elements of people that I'm like, okay, that they've got like a really beautiful trait there. I need more of that, or that's showing up and that's not in me right now. I'm not expressing
it
it.
doesn't feel like he's a teaching. It feels like he's just sharing.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can it's just not like no one's teaching you nothing. You just sharing experiences, and I thought that was
it's the knowledge as well, what you've learned through the years as well, isn't it? And passing it on. Some of the stuff.
I think that's a beautiful part of it, isn't it? It's like you were saying, it's not here's this information, it's more it's a direct experience. It's a direct experience, and once you have a direct experience, the theory goes out the window. You've felt
like
it.
Anyone can sit there and regurgitate or read a book or say this is what you're doing, but it's not. It's actually you're part of the experience. You're like fully involved, fully in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the use of the archetypes as well is such a good concept. The way they all sort of interlink and weave into one another.
Well, that comes from Jungian psychology. Do you know what I mean? We're not just we're using models which are proven models. Do you know what I mean? But especially this map, it's we feel like it's the most pragmatic, sensible, transferable map for a man to understand his own behaviour, to unpick, to untangle, to understand.
Yeah. And to fulfil his potential.
That's it.
But it's surprising though, when I speak to people about my experience and the work we did with each of the archetypes, people are like, I've never even come across this.
That's right.
Never
Yeah.
even heard of Carl Jung.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and
Yeah.
it's an innate part of us that
That's right.
we should all be able to access and embody.
That's right.
Other people get triggered by him as well, don't they?
Yeah.
But
But the thing is,
It's the
we're
model,
actually
isn't
we're anchoring the human condition. Do you know what I mean? You know, we're working with all of these characteristic traits, these primal virtues that we can't see, but we can't deny. And so, we have all these we have all this direct experience on retreat, but we also do have the education to marry the two. You know what I mean? We have the embodiments, but we give you the map to understand how to find that synergy between the two, and then you become a dangerous man. Do you know what I mean? All good.
All good. I think we're coming to a closure. We've been talking for 90 minutes now. We could talk forever. Would be a good time to end with a checkout. That'd be okay? Yeah. Check out what's alive for you and what you're taking away. Or maybe you've got a message for men and women watching this podcast you'd like them to hear. Peter, would you go first? Check it out.
Yeah, go on. I'm checking out with gratefulness. So grateful that I got the opportunity to experience everything, what I've seen and what I've done there. And anybody who's considering going, just go would be the best thing you've ever done, because for me personally, it's one of the best things that I ever done. And I'm so glad that I've done it, and I'd go back in a heartbeat and do it again. Me personally, like.
And men do. You know?
Me personally, that's what I'd do. So
Yeah.
I'm checking out.
Boss.
I'm checking out with feeling empowered. It's really great to reconnect with you all in this room after the retreat and recall the events that took place. And like Pete, if there is any man or woman with a man in their lives who needs to do this work or feels called to come on retreat, then just don't hesitate. Easily the best thing that I've ever done in my adult life in terms of growth, letting go of shit that no longer serves me, and giving me greater clarity and confidence to carry through my purpose in life. So that's me. I'm out.
I'm checking out with gratitude to all you guys for coming and sharing once again and being open. Hopefully we can inspire other men to be open and to be seen and to start the journey of coming inwards and becoming embodied again and learning to feel, which is where the growth is. I hope we can model that. I'm also checking out with immense gratitude to sadness. We spoke about sadness on this retreat, and I bottled it up for years until I got into yoga about 12 years ago, and then it came out. And now I see it as absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful, necessary emotion of letting go. I mean, my own mother, for example, who I love more than anything in the world, who knows how long she's got left on the planet, but after doing this work, what I do know is that when my mother does leave me, that as hard as it will be, I will fucking dive into that grief and dive into that sadness, because at the end of it, it's just there's growth, there's evolution, there's a new beginning, then there's a deeper sense of love and connection and feeling. So I'm so grateful to the emotion of sadness by doing this work. I'm out.
I think I'm just checking out with, firstly, respect. I think any man who comes on retreat and leans into themselves is powerful. And I'm really enjoying how a lot more men from Liverpool are being vulnerable and showing up to this experience that we've put together. I mean, men coming from America now, do you know what I mean? Like, this is men without masks, and now we are now on the map.
And Wigan.
Yeah. check out with a sense of appreciation for just being a man and bringing my gifts to the world, bringing my darkness to the world. I have a deep yearning to be myself and to show all of myself, which is not always easy. And I'm checking out with Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I'm out.
I'm checking out with Joy, just reflecting over the last 5 days. The 5 days of the retreat was beautiful, just to think about all the little experiences. It's hard to really connect the dots. I don't know if everybody else has had that, but each day people ask me, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't even explain. There's so much, and you wouldn't understand it. You'd probably judge me for it anyway. So, but yeah, just such good memories. And I think I'll just echo the lads, like if there's anyone watching the podcast and you at this point, and you know, an hour and a half in, there's obviously an interest, a yearning, a call, and a seeking of something. And I think you'd be crazy not to lean into it. You have zero to lose and a lot to gain, and you've got a lot of people, you know, we've got a real good connection of people that we'll stay in touch with for a long time. And I think the container thing we mentioned in the podcast, where you don't have that space and time all the time to speak to people or open up to people, at very least you'll come away with that container, and at very least you'll come away with people at the end of the phone that you can speak to. And I think it's so important. It's been the biggest growth in my life in the last year, is that cultivation of people that I can express and be myself, and not be this person on a pedestal that other people see me to be.
Yeah.
So, with that, I'm out.
Okay, I'm checking in with a deep sense of gratitude, the same. It's probably everybody here. Checking in with love, as always. Love for me brothers, love for obviously what the guys are doing, and checking in with massive respect, because not just for obviously the facilitators, for the other men on the retreat, the likes of Peter, who went out, like, I've seen a lot of fear in the eyes of a lot of men, myself included, on day one. And the transformation, I've tried to put it into words to explain it to people. It's just like,
it's hard, magic.
What these guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal. It's life changing, it's game changing, and yeah, as everyone, I would not sit here and recommend it if I didn't think it'd massively change and benefit. So many men need it. You know what I mean? So many men need it. Get out of your fucking own way, and yeah, and you know, it's the best investment you'll ever make. Yeah.
Get into that Osho meditation.
That's it. Yeah, you fucking go and dance your socks off.
We'll be up in a minute, don't you worry.
And on that note, I'm out.
Nice.
Okay, so thank you for listening. If you want to find out more about our work, you can find us at menwithoutmasks.com. Search for Men Without Masks on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And if you're a man that's contemplating coming on retreat with us, we also want you to know that it just doesn't end with the retreat. You know, post-retreat, like Chris said, at the very least, you've got connection to an amazing group of brothers that you'll stay in contact with. At the most, you can join our 12-month program, which we are creating, that starts in January for retreat initiates. We offer coaching services, meditation services, and we also have a referral of other practitioners who we recommend. So we're trying our best to build a brotherhood and a list of services to benefit all men. So with that, I'm out.
Thanks. Creating Space is sponsored by the Scouse Guru app, an all-purpose meditation app that feeds into all your needs, developing peace of mind, increasing mental focus, lowering stress levels while discovering inner stillness, awakening your potential and educating you on all matters related to human behaviour and personal development. Download the app for free on the App Store or get it on Google Play today.